we can zoom in with freaking, like you said, 100,000 frames per second and see if it moves a millimeter. But on the greens, these guys are like putting a mark from their trip to London with their family 7 years ago that they got at a train station, taking the ball up, throwing it to their caddy. The caddy's like spitting on it, and then they put it back down. You're telling me that's the exact spot that the dimple that you picked it off on is now going right back on that same blade of grass? Shut the fuck up.
Athletic, bold, commanding. We're talking about this Chevy Equinox EV. Chevrolet for this entire year has been the presenting sponsor of our show. So everything we talk about, everything we're able to do here on this podcast is brought to you by Chevy and that Equinox EV. So we appreciate them very much. We got a little story time on today's show, gentlemen.
Yeah. I had a crazy Friday night with Jon Cooper, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, thanks to mutual friend now in Sam Bezoyan Riggs. He texted me and said Jon Cooper wants to come to Borrelli's tonight, and it was quite the night. And we get into the whole entire deal. We had a bet for the game that came the next day. It was a wild day for old Frankie Borrelli at his family's restaurant. That's for sure.
It's a great tale. It's a fantastic tale. So, yeah, I think people are going to enjoy that. One of our favorite people is Jon Cooper. He's just a big name in the hockey world. And so a lot to get to. Again, all brought to you by Chevy and the Equinox EV, which you need to know. It offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front-wheel drive. You can leave the driving the Equinox EV as well with this great available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology, and of course that massive, iconic, awesome 17-inch diagonal center screen display. It's the largest of any EV in its class. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. As this show comes out, it'll be December 16th, 2025. We are getting towards the end here. We're wrapping things up. It's the holiday season. As folks know, it's the winter. I think I saw a bunch of snow. You guys are posting snow up in the Northeast. Is that correct?
Ton of snow yesterday. Dumped on us. Great time. Aside from the shoveling, unbelievable time. Right before Christmas. Everything aesthetically looks perfect. We got so much snow in Suffolk County. I think we got like 6 inches. People are sending around those memes of like the two little, like, hey, I'm going to go check how much. Actually, I sent this one to my buddies. I found it on the internet. I'm going to go check how much snow is there. They're saying it's between 4 and 6 inches. And then like you show them the picture. It's just like two little impressions in one hole. And you're like, I think it's closer to 3. Just like gets the boys going, And then one guy sends it back, like Big Rob's like, oh, we only got one here in Nashville. It's just like, funny as hell, man.
Just the boys having fun. Yeah, waking up to snow is really nice. Like, it's beautiful. I've said for a long time that the first snow is like, I get that once you get into like January and February, and in some places in the country, the snow gets into March. But that first one of the season, and I feel like New York City hasn't gotten a ton of snow over the last few years. So just to wake up to that it still feels magical. It's crazy. It's just like it's frozen snowfall, or it's frozen rain falling from the sky. But for whatever reason, people are like, I feel like I'm in a winter wonderland, and it's a great way to wake up.
Dude, we brought Frankie boy downstairs, and you open up the door, and he looked through the glass window, and it's like, what is going on with the world out there? The only world that he has seen every day when we open up the door is green grass, a road, the tree that he loves to look at. And now everything was white. And he's like, his eyes went wide, and he looked at me and then smiled. I'm like, that's magical.
It's magic. Dude, snow, I'll say I've been seeing a lot of Instagram stories from the folks up there. It seems like a very Instagram storyable moment, and it is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful until it turns to slush. We don't get a ton of snow here out in Scottsdale. It's like 75 and sunny, so you got to I have like fake snow, around the place, trying to make it feel like a white Christmas. You guys have a actual white Christmas. I feel like it was a couple years ago back we had Alex Bush where we did, when was the first snowfall in New York going to be? And it wasn't until like fucking March or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a weird stretch. And I don't think I've talked about it on the show. I'm back in New York City. And part of the reason I feel like I did it was because I missed the seasons. It turns out I moved down to Florida for like a year. And then, as everybody knows, it's really warm all the time. And I'm a seasons guy. I like the waking up in the morning and seeing the snow and not having it be, it sounds crazy when you recount it to somebody, but like I didn't like waking up every day and it was 75 and sunny, and like that's good for a while. But I grew up in Iowa for 27 years until I moved to New York City, and I had seasons there and I had seasons in New York. I had just always been used to it. And then I went from not having any of that. Like I remember vividly last Christmas having no snow, not even the chance of snow. And you're just kind of like, oh, that's a different feeling for me. So now to be back here, I moved back a couple months ago, and it's just like it paid off for me yesterday, where I was like, oh yeah, I'm a guy who needs a change in seasons.
There's also like you're not the most outdoorsy person. So when you're in Florida, if you have a boat and you're like outdoors running and like going to the park and like every day, you're so happy that 75, 80 degrees, 90 degrees. You couldn't imagine being inside doing activities inside. But for me, I'm very similar to you, Trent, where I like sometimes when it gets cold and we're going to a movie theater and that feeling of, oh, It's winter. Let's start the car early. I know this all sounds ridiculous, but start the car, warm it up. You get to the movie theater, you run in, you're in a warm movie theater, you have the popcorn. There's just something that feels like winter when that happens. It feels like Christmas time. You're going to the mall. Everyone's fighting for a parking spot and it's freezing. You don't want to park far away, but that grind feels like the holiday season. You're working for something. You're in New York City and you're walking to a bar. You got that, you could see your breath coming out, but it's still a nice day out. And then you walk into a pub and you walk into McSorley's or something and there's saw on the floor. There's just a different feeling. And I love Florida. My grandparents had a condo there forever. My family still does. I love going there, but for me, it always feels like a vacation. So I could totally see living there full time when you didn't grow up there, it feeling a little bit like, where's the rest? I feel like half of me is gone.
That I feel that exact way. And it sounds so dumb. Again, recounting it, probably it sounds dumb to Riggs right now, where you're like, there's something to
look. If you guys want to stay in New York and keep fighting for parking spots, I got no issue with that. We got absolutely
there's something to, like Frankie saying, the adversity of you're in the cold and then you get into a warm apartment and you're like, oh, and again, it really goes back to a familiarity for me, where I just know at this point in the season, in this month, the weather's going to be like this. Where in Florida, listen, also Florida summers are, they're inhabitable. And I know Arizona's a lot like that too, where it's just, it's really hot. It's 100, it's 110 degrees. But yeah, I wanted to try it. I didn't leave New York City being like, I hate it here. I want to leave. I want to go anywhere else. I was just like, I'm going to give Florida a try. I gave it a try. No taxes is great. I do want to say that. Shout out to that. Shout out to the zero taxes.
Insane.
In Florida. So that's been a little bit of a change coming back up. But yeah, man, overall,
all the taxes in New York.
Oh, dude,
all the taxes that aren't in Florida just somehow made their way north. They're like they snowbird up here.
I think they somehow flipped it where we're paying Florida's tax for them. Like there's some weird, but yeah, I just like the seasons. It sounds so dumb. I know people.
It's a normal thing to want the seasons,
Okay.
I think so. And I think, like, for me, I'm similar in having hockey be such a big part of my life. There is like this part of the year I follow like Choate Rosemary Hall is where I went to high school for a couple of years in Connecticut and played hockey there. And like this time of year, I follow their Instagram account for the team. They've been hitting me up about showcasing some of their players, which I may or may not have to do here. But the point being, this time of year, it's like you only get a very short season for the sports in like prep school because it's 3 seasons, fall, winter, spring. So they just started the hockey season is the whole point. And this is like, gives me the chills looking at them. Like they're starting the season. I'm thinking about going to the rink. You're wearing like a pea coat for the first time with like your suit to the game. You got a beanie on. It might be snowing out. And like, that is where I felt comfortable. Whereas like in the summertime, all the activities everybody was doing in the summertime, I fucking sucked at. You guys have seen me swing a baseball bat. Like I'm fucking terrible at the summer sports. And golf, I was not good at golf like growing up, but we would play a little bit relative to the kids that could actually play. And then, dude, we would get into November and fucking December, and it was like, this is my time to shine. I'm going to go out there. We're going to have hockey tryouts for the high school team or the travel team or whatever, and I'm going to be out there trying to score goals and try to do something where I felt good. So, like, going into the wintertime, this, as a seasonal guy and living in Connecticut, Boston, New York, Chicago for a couple of years, St. Louis growing up, is like where it was my time to shine. So I definitely feel the seasons, but we also like, we laugh every Saturday. We play the Saturday game out at Greyhawk, and it's like 67 and sunny at 2:30 in the afternoon. And you got to put a hoodie on at 4:30 because it drops down to like 61 degrees. And we're always just sort of like, hey, could be living in Wisconsin shoveling snow right now, or like we're kind of out here playing golf and it's awesome. And so, it's like different strokes for different folks. And I think we travel enough that like I get my seasonal hit, like here and there.
Sure.
But no, it's not quite the same. It's like when you're putting up your Christmas tree and stuff, and it's like hot outside. You almost have to like I have the AC on, because if I just keep my windows open too long, it gets too hot in here right now. So that part of it is obviously different. I do like the seasons, and luckily with our schedule and everything, for around the holidays, we'll do a little podcasting scheduling update. But, as of like next week, all the way through the new year, we're not going to have many shows going out. We're kind of on break for a little bit before we kick off the new year. And like, I'll stay in St. Louis for a while, for a whole week and whatnot. It'll be a little chilly. You might get a couple snowflakes. And so I get the seasons thing. And again, I get it. If nobody wants to come to Arizona and that'd be great. That'd be absolutely perfect, especially folks from California. You just want to stay away from Arizona. You need seasons somewhere. That's fantastic. We don't need you here. No big deal.
Speaking of your hockey career and playing hockey, I met your old coach this past weekend, or I guess it was Thursday.
What a great series of events. So I think I talked about it a little bit over the summer, but Jon Cooper, Tampa Bay Lightning head coach, I know he's been on Chicklets a bunch. I know he's got sound bites that go, quite viral in the hockey world a bunch, just because he's the longest tenured head coach in the NHL. He's the head coach of Team Canada. And I played for Coop maybe 17 years ago now for the St. Louis Bandits, playing junior hockey. We won a national championship there, had an unbelievable run. I think we were 57-9-2 was our team record in junior hockey playing for Coop. I know. And so I've known him for a long time, and he's a big golf guy. He's a member out at Gaza Ranch. And when we did the Barstool Classic at Coeur d'Alene this past summer, we had that like 10-day stretch or something where we were at Gamble Sands, and then Coeur d'Alene's like 3 hours away from Gamble Sands. So I stayed up there. I played with Ryan Hopper, who folks at the Barstool Classic know, who's an absolute hero, legend. Him and Chris and Maddie, who work on that team, we all kind of stayed up there, played a bunch of golf, went over to Coeur d'Alene for a few days before we actually did the tournament there, and went out to Gaza. Coop kind of hosted me out at Gaza. And we just had a blast, man, just playing golf, having a couple drinks, telling stories. And I'd stayed in touch with Cooper quite a bit just through text, whatever. We do an annual bet. I have a bunch of Tampa Bay Lightning gear at my goddamn place because we do an annual Masters bet of like, we each pick 5 players. Whoever has the lowest total score wins, and the other guy has to send them a bunch of gear. So I actually have too. I have like a really cool Barstool Golf hat that's signed by like 20 people from the Tampa Bay Lightning that are all like his Stanley Cup winning team. And then every time, obviously, that I win, he sends me a bunch of Tampa Bay gear. So we've had a long thing going. Finally got to play golf that time for the first time probably ever that we actually played golf together, and just had a fucking blast. He was talking about being the, head coach of Team Canada. We were going through, obviously he having coached in St. Louis for a while, Pat Maroon having been like on the Blues winning cup teams, been on the Lightning Cup teams. Like, we just had a lot to talk about. And of course, Frankie Borrelli came up because the New York Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning have had quite the head-to-head run-ins over the last 5 or 6, 7 years. And, he gave me the classic, like, so the Frankie guys, he really like is crazy about the fucking Islanders as he seems. And I was like, yep, he sure is. And he was like snickering about how they've kind of gotten the better of the Islanders over the years. But also he couldn't help himself but be like, I fucking love that. That's what makes the NHL the NHL. It's like people like Frankie. And so the other night, my dad was in town. We had the father-son event at Whisper Rock this weekend, which is like the best event of the year, playing golf and hanging. And we were coming back from dinner, and I just get an unsolicited phone call from Jon Cooper. So I pick it up, and he's like, hey, we're at this steakhouse on Long Island. We're playing the Islanders tomorrow. The guy here, the waiter, said that this Borrelli's joint is within like 5 or 10 minutes of where we're at. Is that place open? And I was like, I don't know, Coop. I'm in Arizona. I don't even know if we're 2 hours behind, 3 hours behind. I got no idea, but I could try to figure it out from Frankie and see if they're open, because I know they got a great bar scene over there. And then he was like, He goes, what? Are you sure they'd be open? It's like 10 o'clock at night. Isn't that like a custard shop or something? I was like, no, it's a fucking like Italian restaurant with like a bar and the whole deal. And he's like, oh, okay. They got martinis there? I was like, they definitely got martinis there. He's like, how about you loop in Frankie? Call Frankie. I was like, I'm not calling Frankie. He's got a child. He's got a newborn child. I was like, I'll put him on a text. And if he's awake, I'm sure he'll figure it out. It's like, okay. So sure enough, we put the two of you on text. And then I don't really know what happened the rest of the night. I saw some pictures. But if I know Coop and I know you, it sounds like you guys probably had an all-time night.
Well, yeah, on my side, I'm just sitting there with my pants off playing video games in the basement trying to be a child again. Frankie boy was sleeping. Hannah was sleeping upstairs. He goes to bed at like 7:30. So the night was over. It was a Friday night. There's an exciting Friday night here on Long Island. And, I'm deep. I got the text message and I had to like quit my NHL 26 game. I was pissed because I was up 2-1. And like, you can't really pause those games. It's online. So I like quit and I'm like pissed. I'm like, what is this? Like, what am I have to deal with right now? And I look at the text message and it's Jon Cooper. It says maybe Jon Cooper and Riggs. That's hilarious. Okay. And it says, is Borrelli still open? I call Borrelli's. Yep. I'm like, one of the coaches wants to come. Actually, a couple of radio guys had just gone. Don LaGreca, who's the announcer for the Devils and longtime New York radio guy, had just been to Borrelli's and they had posted on the Borrelli's. I'm like, what's going on at Borrelli's tonight? So a lot of people going in and out. My aunt Angela said, oh yeah, we're drinking in the bar because it's a Friday night, the family's staying there late, everyone's just having fun, they're closing up probably at 11:30 or whatever. So they said, oh, come on down. So I text Cooper, I said, yep, they're open. And I said, and then he didn't really answer. I said, if you want to argue, I've been waiting 4 years to talk about it, a too many men on the ice goal that wasn't called in Game 2 of the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals. If you want that energy, I'll be there in 25 minutes because I live 25 minutes away. And he goes, be there. And then so now I walk upstairs. I tap Hannah on the shoulder. I'm like, I'm going to Borrelli's. And she's like, what? I'm like, Jon Cooper's going there. She's like, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going. So I left the house. I sped all the way down the Southern State Parkway, all the way to frickin' Borrelli's. I get there. Now they had gotten there earlier than me, probably 10 minutes earlier. Just to show you the kind of guy he is and like what kind of troll he is. I walk into Borrelli's, which is Islander, haven. Okay, this is an Islander safe haven for all Islanders fans since the Nassau Coliseum opened up in 1970, maybe 1972. The New York Islanders started. Borrelli's has been the spot. You go to Borrelli's, you go
Stanley
to games.
Cups.
After games, we're going to Borrelli's. It's in every tweet, and quite literally for 4 years, that famous photo of Borrelli's and my dad up top. Borrelli loves Tonelli. The parade would go right by Borrelli's. You guys know all the history. Everyone listening, that's all I talk about every single show. Anyway, I walk into Borrelli's and I see on the TV there's hockey highlights going on, and there's 5 coaches sitting at the bar. Jeff Halpern, you got his whole entire Jon Cooper and his whole entire coaching staff and video guys are all there. And he's got his freaking hand on the remote now. I'm like, oh my God. And as I walked in, he has Game 7 of the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals playing. The last few seconds as they won to go to the Stanley Cup Finals against the New York Islanders. In my restaurant, I walked in, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, how did you give him the controls to the TV now? He's laughing, come over here, hugging me, sit down. And I'm like, this is insane. I'm looking around. This is nuts. His assistants played, Halpern played 1,000 games in the NHL. Like these guys are legit. They've won 2 Stanley Cups as coaches. They've gone to 3. He is Canada's head coach this year for arguably their best team ever, right? I mean, you got guys like McDavid, and it's nuts who he gets to coach and pick. I'm just way out of my league sitting here. I was basically just naked in my basement 20 minutes ago. And now I'm sitting at the bar with Jon Cooper, who's supposed to be my enemy at this point. Without the Lightning, I think the Islanders win 2 Stanley Cups, right? I mean, they would have had to play the Dallas Stars in 2020, which would have been tough. Then they had to play the Montreal Canadiens because of the COVID weird shifting of the conferences in 2021. And the Canadiens got rolled by the Lightning. It would have been a no-brainer New York Islanders victory. So without him existing, I'm a different person. So he's supposed to be my enemy. So I went into this pretty abrasive, thinking I was going to have debates and arguments. And within 5 seconds, I think we were best friends. I mean, that night was one of the coolest as a hockey fan, even as an Islander fan, just to talk to the team that had beaten my favorite team a couple times, talking through strategy and, So we got a new TV at Borrelli's, like a nice big like smart TV. And now we're able to like search YouTube. For years, it was always the same TV since like 2000. It was just like, it's an old school place, 1955. And we finally got a new TV. So now I thought it was so cool that we were able to just go through game 6 of the 2021. And he's talking to me. He's stopping it. He's got all his video coaches and his assistant coaches. He's like, oh, why was Cooch coming off the bench there? And watch Bailey get open. And he's like, and then he'd be like, watch Matt Barzal. Look how good he can create space here. And he's showing me all the stuff that he saw on the bench as the Lightning coach, all the good things the Islanders are doing. And I was getting the chills like the whole entire night. I'm just getting the chills because he's bringing up stories. Kucherov broke his rib on this play, and we had to shoot him up in between each period. And like he had to like basically like he was like an Iron Man. Like we were like patching him together, and he had to win the Stanley Cup with no ribs. And like no one knew that it happened on this one play. And he's just telling me all these great stories. And before you know it, like now we're watching YouTube golf videos because he's asking me about what we do. And he's like, I don't fucking get it. And I'm showing him the Internet Invitational. He hadn't heard about it. And I'm telling him the numbers. He's like, how many people watch this? I'm like, dude, 7 million people watched the first episode. He's like, what's that in context? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think like 4 million people watch Sunday of the US Open, like, when it's on Fox or whatever. Like this is the biggest thing in golf this year. One of it, if it's not Rory's Grand Slam performance at the Masters, it's the Internet Invitational. That's how big this thing got. And he's losing his mind. So now I'm showing him clips. He's looking at all the people that are in it, the Duke, and now we're going through YouTube videos, skipping through, and we get to the finale. And I have this video of him watching my chip, and when I chip it, he got so invested in the whole story. And I'm telling him, I'm pausing it, and I'm telling him. Now I had a couple of drinks in me at this point, so now I'm like, I'm pushing the chair away. I'm like, boys, I'm standing over this thing. Dave's in my face, and Coop's like wide-eyed, ready to go. Like, no way are you on the last hole. On 17, when I hit that 7-iron or 6-iron onto the green, they went nuts. They lost their mind. Let's go! Punching me and shit. And then we get to 18. That happens. After I hit the drive, he's like, that's a good drive. You got it off the ground. And when he's talking through this 3-step thing that he goes through as a coach, where it's like 3 steps, and like you want to take a deep breath in, hold for 3 seconds, release. It just resets your heart rate and resets your brain. And you start thinking about that, and everything around you goes away. Like if you think about the 3 steps of breathing for those 10-15 seconds, you're only thinking about those steps and everything that's making you nervous. So he's telling me like, this is what I do when I'm in the freaking Olympics.
Boy, he doesn't
Stanley
know what's
Cup
coming.
Finals.
He doesn't have any idea what's coming.
Yeah. So then I end up blading the wedge, and there's this video that I have of him with his hands over his nose like this. And he's just staring at the screen, silent for like a minute. He couldn't believe it. And then a couple of chuckles start to come out. But it was the coolest night ever. There was a 3 p.m. game the next day, and they said they get like 1 or 2 nights a year where they get to kind of get the guys out, and there's no meetings in the morning. There's no, like the Islanders, same thing. Like there's no morning skate. It's a weird time. 3 p.m. game, usually a 7 p.m. game. They're there at 9 a.m. in the morning. They're doing their meetings and stuff. But a 3 p.m. game, it's like, let's meet at 12 or whatever. And now we have our afternoon game. So we had a great night. They end up going back to the Marriott, the whole deal. I go home. I had to Uber home. I'm like, I drove there. I had to Uber home. It was like a whole thing. I couldn't believe it. The next day, the Islander game at 3, but we have breakfast with Santa at Borrelli's. 200 people are going there with all their kids. Of course, I'm bringing Frankie boy, and all my friends' kids are going. That starts at 8:30. So I just left at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Whatever. I left way after them. I had to lock up the doors. I had to take the keys from the bartender, and I had to go in the back, turn off the ovens. It was 2015 again. I turned off the lights in the back. I put the chairs up in the bar. I had to put the money back into the register. I counted to make sure there was $100 in there. It was crazy. I'm like, what is happening?
Stay the night there.
Yeah. So
little sleeping bag.
So now I'm doing that.
See Santa come down the chimney.
So now Santa's coming at freaking 8:30. I show up at like 8:45, and freaking Jeff Halpern is sitting in the bar when I get there. This is the assistant coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, because they had heard that we were doing breakfast with Santa the next day. They were dying at that. And he's an athlete, played 1,000 games in the NHL or 980 games in the NHL. He jogged from the hotel, which is like a quarter mile away. He said, yeah, I needed to get my morning run in. And he had a freaking espresso at the bar, and he just wanted to see the whole scene. These guys, they were like so nice. They wanted to see like me with my family, and they wanted to see what Borrelli's was like. They said they love to get a feel for the cities that they're in when they play on the road. And this was like the most feeling they've gotten They're at an old school Italian restaurant. The Psycho Islander fan.
That's awesome.
So it was fun. Like he got to meet Frankie and Hannah, and he got to see all the kids coming in with Santa coming in. It was a very, very cool scene. Anyway, we get through that, and he comes up to me, Jeff. He goes, "Hey, Coop might ask you something crazy in like a couple hours before the game. Just be prepared." Like he likes to do this thing on the road where if they win, he likes to do something with the player of the game and sometimes bring someone in or take something from like the city or something like that. Like he gets like handed something. He goes, "You might get a wild text around like 3:00. Like he's known for doing something like this." I'm like, okay, I don't know what that. Now my heart's racing. It's like 10:00 in the morning. I can't stop thinking about anything else. I get a text at 2:50. The game starts at 3. I'm sitting in my seat. The game starts at 3:30. I'm sitting in my seat at the game. And it's Jon Cooper. I see him across the bench because they were doing this Pat LaFontaine Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And he's out there clapping as his name gets introduced. He like wanted to be a part of the whole introduction ceremony. And all of a sudden I see him like on his phone. He's like texting me from the bench basically 30 minutes before the game. "Hey, do you want to make a bet for this game?" I was like, "Okay." He goes, "All right. So if the Lightning win, you have to come into the locker room and hand out my player of the game award. The boys will love it. They'll rag on you." He goes, "It doesn't need to be like with the media or anything. Like I just know like you're the Islander guy. They're going to shit on you because like they know these stories. Like they've seen the videos of me screaming, Braden, fucking." They told me that they love watching the negative shit that comes out after they beat me. Like it goes around the group chats. Like Frankie was crying. There's pictures of me and Stu Feiner like throwing our freaking Pink Whitney things on the ground. Like that famous video of my dad pouring it out. So he's like, the boys would love it. I'm like, all right. Like, so I said, I don't know if I can do that. I'm going post game. I had a couple friends in the building and they're going to go meet Matt Barzell after. And I got like post game passes to meet the Islanders after for all my friends. I'm like, I can't ditch the Islanders to go into the Lightning locker room in our own building and hand out a player. This would have ruined me. Right. So now I said, all right, I accept. Cause then he goes, dude, he goes, "It'll be right after the game. We'll get you to the Islander side after. We'll wait for you." He goes, "It happens right after the game. The boys will still be dressed." He's like, he's arguing with me about how I can do this. I'm like, the puck's dropping. The puck is dropping now. You're playing against the team. So now he's like, "It'll be fine." So then I said, all right, if the Islanders win, you have to go in a post-game press conference and say that the reason that the Islanders won is because of Borrelli's Italian restaurant and that you tried to come in and steal our mojo and it was too much for you to handle. And he's like, "Done, love it." He's like, "Deal, handshake." I'm like, I'm with my buddies. Like, this is nuts right now. You know, I've never in my life felt this type of pressure for a New York Islanders game. Turns out to be the best game of the year. It's Schaefer scores the first goal. I hit that. $25 to win 600. Unbelievable bet on the DraftKings.
Come on.
If you get a first goal scorer, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
So end up going to a shootout. Islanders win in a shootout. My heart's pounding the whole entire time. I'm convinced that I was sitting right across from him. I'm convinced that him and his coaches were staring at me instead of, because they couldn't see the shot. The guys all stand on the bench. I'm pretty sure they were staring at me for my reaction on if it was a goal or not, because he was just staring right at me. I could see his eyes. It was very, very funny. We were all very into it the whole game. Islanders ended up winning, and I text him because we were talking about when the Lightning beat the Islanders. He did this lawnmower celebration that's like a GIF now. It's a famous Jon Cooper GIF when they won. He went, "Bam, bang, bang." So I sent that to him the second Heineman scored in the shootout and the Islanders won. And he messaged me after a couple of minutes and he's just like, "That was Grand Theft Auto. You guys stole that one." Like, he's such a fucking real dude, like the coolest dude of all time. So now I'm waiting for the press conference. And there's a 5-minute press conference that's posted. I'm like, oh shit, like who knows what he says? And the fucking press conference comes and goes and he didn't say Borrelli's. So I text him after and I'm like, well, that's bullshit. Cause I was going to go in there and get freaking made fun of. And he goes, "Dude, there was a moment during that press conference where I thought to myself, you got to say this." And he goes, I just like yipped it. I couldn't pull the trigger. He's like, I messed up. He goes, "I owe you one big time. And I hate to owe people anyone."
That was like the Trevor Immelman thing. You remember that?
Yeah,
Trevor
Immelman. Yep. Yes.
Well, we had him on the show, and I was like, "Say saddle for the 15th green at Augusta," and it comes and goes because he came on after and said the same thing. There's a moment these guys know where they're like, "This is where I could insert this Barstool like lore type of moment," and it just passes them by. Now, Trevor Immelman did pay up the next year, and he said saddle on the broadcast, and people can't believe it. But yeah, there is a moment, and you got to embrace it, otherwise it passes you by.
Now, I don't know if we're going to get another moment. The Islanders just swept the Tampa Bay Lightning 3 times in 15 days. Unbelievable. We're like number 2 in the Eastern Conference standings. So we're not playing them again. So who knows? Maybe at the Olympics he shouts out Borrelli when he's in Italy in Milan.
Okay.
Maybe says, "Oh, we're in Italy." Shout out to a good Italian restaurant on Long Island. Borrelli's at the freaking Olympics. That would be unbelievable. You know what? We'll get one. I said, don't worry about it. Like at some point we'll get this. Maybe we'll get a golf match going or something. Like we gotta. This isn't ending here. Just because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain doesn't mean that this is over. So he does.
It's better he owes you. I think it's better he owes you. That's great.
I do think so
that's a good
too.
spot
I mean, they
to
also
be
lost the shootout. It's like it wasn't the right time. Like he was probably pissed. He wanted to get back to the locker room and get on. But yeah, I know people sometimes hate when I go on those like 15-minute Islander rants, but I just thought that was a great story. I mean, this guy is the real deal, man. He also went to Hofstra, which is a Long Island, right across from Borrelli's. He played lacrosse there. His story's just like the guy didn't grow up playing hockey, and now he's an all-time multiple Stanley Cup winning country head coach, head coaching coach. It's just he's an impressive dude. And there were multiple times throughout the night where he'd be like, dude, like people think like I am this thing, and like I go and do these like speeches and I talk to these people, and he's like, I stand there and I think like I'm just a regular guy. Like I just know defensive formations and schemes, and I have these thoughts on the game of hockey, and I'm a motivator, but like I'm speaking to 1,000 people. He's like, it's crazy where I'm at. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yes. He's like, dude, can you believe I've got Patrick Waz? Like, me and him are buddies now. I'm like, you are a better coach. What are you talking about? You're won two Stanley Cups.
Dude,
he's got that imposter syndrome a little bit.
Big time. Sounds like.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He really is such an interesting cat. And, when I played up at Gaza with him, it was cool because that place is, like Justin Bieber has a house up there. Like the people that are running around that spot it's a laughable sort of like, yep. It's like a laughable collection of people. And every single group we went by would come over and say hi, dap them up, be like, Coach, what's up, Coach? And take it, and whatever, hang and having a shot with them, do it. And just like you could tell. And then, to go to like what kind of guy he is, I'll never forget that we're there where it was like the day before the member guest started at Gaza, and his partner was going to be his former assistant, Jeff Blashill, who's now the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. And this was going to be like his first year coaching the Blackhawks. And he hadn't had his like sit down with Connor Bedard yet. So it was like Coop was all giddy. And I was like, why are you so giddy about like Blashill getting here? And he's like, dude, he hasn't had a sit down with Bedard. He's flying into Vancouver first. He's going to have a sit down with Bedard. I can't wait to hear about it. And he was like, couldn't wait to hear about it as like a gossipy like schoolgirl being like him and Bernard are going to sit down and talk, and he couldn't wait. And he's all fired up. So then that night, all these people were coming into town for the member guest. I wasn't in the member guest, but we had played that day. So the clubhouse at Gaza was just like packed with people. A bunch of guys from Scottsdale that I knew just throughout the golf world, folks that we played with that day, absolutely packed. We're hanging. The night's kind of getting away from us. And literally at that place, the only way to really get back to like the Coeur d'Alene Resort was either like a 45-minute Uber, which is a nightmare, or it's like a 8-minute ride on this ferry. And the last ferry was leaving at like 11. Coop looks down at his phone. He's like, it's fucking 10:52. The last ferry's at 11. I was like, how far away is the ferry? He's like, it's about 8 minutes. We got to go. I was like, all right. So we like drive down to the ferry, get down there. And on the way to the ferry, he calls the ferry guy. And of course the ferry, the captain picks up. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere, Coop. Don't worry. And Coop's like, oh, my man. So then sure enough, Jon Cooper sits down there. He's like, when we get down to the ferry, he's like, can we have time for like one beer? And the captain's like, sure. So then he's like laying down on the benches on the ferry with me, having like one last beer and just chopping it up with the captain of the ferry and myself until like 11:15. And then he's like, oh shit, I gotta go. You're never gonna be able to get home to your family. And like tips the guy, and then just kind of dap it up with everybody. So he's always been like that kind of guy. But to see him at this level now, winning cups and still acting like that with everybody that he goes to, he's like my idol in like that kind of way he carries himself with everyone. And dude, his story's nuts. Like you kind of mentioned it, but if you see him, like you get a lot of these coaches at every different level of hockey that are like absolute fucking studs when it comes to the game of hockey. And then you get Coop out there, and he's a lacrosse guy that like played a little bit of high school hockey and then played a little bit of hockey when he was in like law school. He was, I believe, like a public defender for a handful of years in the Detroit like area, and then became coach of, I think, high school hockey, and then honey baked like major junior hockey. And then eventually, dude, his winning track record of like climbing the ladder is unbelievable. Like I kind of mentioned it, but when we were at the St. Louis Bandits, he won like 2 or 3 straight years there. He was NAHL Coach of the Year, I think 2 years in a row. Our record, 57-9-2, was like the most shocking team I've ever been a part of, where he just would destroy teams. And then he went from coaching in the NAHL, where again he won, I think, like 3 straight titles, maybe, that the Bandits won with Coop as the head coach. Then he got hired for the Green Bay Gamblers in the USHL and took that team from a pretty shitty team to winning the league title and having like an 80-40 record over a couple of years. And then from there, he got hired to be the head coach of the Norfolk Admirals, which is like the Tampa Bay Lightning farm team, and led them to a professional North American sports record. I think they won like 28 games in a row. That team won. And then when the Tampa Bay Lightning a year or two later fired their head coach, they named Coop as like interim head coach. And then he led them to like a pretty dominant record for a month or two. They decided to move him into like permanent head coach, and he's been the head coach ever since and won back-to-back Stanley Cup. So like his track record of just winning everywhere he goes is unfucking believable. And you learn he's just like, he's a player's coach, man. Like you want to go to war for that guy. He's obsessed with it. He's a smart guy. He's insanely likable. He knows how to like treat different players, you know, the right way to treat them to get the best out of them. Some people need to be, you can be hard on them, really hard on them. Some people you need to coddle a little bit. Like I remember in our playoff run when I played for the Bandits, we would play, I think he had to win like 2 different playoff series to get to like the national championship, where like 3 or 4 teams would make it to the national championship. And during one of those playoff series, I remember he like benched or scratched our leading scorer because he didn't like his attitude in a playoff game. So it's like, and of course we won. We ended up winning the whole like national championship. But like he, just from a coaching standpoint, I remember being whatever, 19, 20 years old at that point, being like, what is this guy doing? This is insane. And of course now he's fucking Jon Cooper. So that's a great story, man. I feel like you guys are not going to have the end of this, and I like that you got one over him, Frankie.
Yeah, we have one over him. It was a great wild 24 hours. It was a lot of fun. It was just a crazy day for me too. Like that was happening. Cooper's like texting me from the bench. The Islanders are winning, and then at one point I get a call from one of the guys at the Islanders during the game. He goes, "Hey, PK Subban's like filming this segment for ESPN, I think it was," and he's like, for ESPN like broadcast. He's like, he's trying to go to all 3 New York area games in one day because the Devils had played at 12, the Islanders were playing at 3, and the Rangers were playing at 7. So he was doing something each, and he's like, "Do you want to come down and film some content with them?" And I happened to be in the section that he was at. This is insane. So I go down there. It's in the first seat. We're on the glass right behind the penalty box, and I'm just sitting with PK Subban. 3 cameras are in front of me, and he's like, "What's up, brother?" I'm like, "What's up?" And now we're just sitting there talking about Borrelli's. I told him about the bet I had with Coop. He was loving it. Then the Islanders scored, and I jumped into his arms. So I don't know where that content's going because I jumped
one of
on
those
him.
things where it's just going to pop up one day, and you're like, "Oh, that's where
I forgot that happened." Right.
I jumped onto him. I went nuts. I think I punched him in the arm. Like, let's go, because now the Islanders are beating the Lightning. I have the bet in the back of my head, so I was losing my mind. I leave that, and it was just like it was one of those things. That I just like things were just happening that whole entire day. Oh, and then PK Subban goes, "Hey, grab my number. I want to go," because I told him about Borrelli's during the segment. He's like, "I want to go to that restaurant. I'm a foodie. Like, I would love to go there with my friends." He's like, "Let me take your phone and let me put my number in. I'll text myself." So this is in front of everyone. He starts to write out his number, and then his name popped up in my phone book. He's like, "Oh, you have my number already." I was like, "What?" And then we both stared at each other. It was the weirdest moment ever. How do you have my number? Because he didn't really know. Someone just dropped me off right next to him. I didn't get a chance to explain to him Barstool thing. So he just thought I was a crazy Islander fan. So he's like looking at me, and I don't even know why the fuck I had his number. So he looks at me, and there was that moment where he goes, "How do you have my number?" And I had, dude, I had nothing for him. I just went, this was a where were you stationed moment for me.
Oh.
I go, and then it hit me. I said, "Oh, did you do a pizza review like 8 years ago?" He's like, "Oh, fuck." He's like, "That was you?" I'm like, "Well, no, I didn't do the pizza. It was Dave." He goes, "Oh, no, I know it's Dave." He goes, "You were the camera guy?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, that's right." He goes, "We were trying to go to another place after that, and I remember giving you my number."
How do you have my
What a
number?
day.
I think at the time he did it was like him and like Lindsey Vonn did it, right? I think they were together at the time and they did a pizza review.
Sounds about
That
right.
could be.
Dude,
it was a crazy day.
Shout out to him for
Did
keeping the same number. I mean, that's for 8 years is a lot.
Oh, well,
Did I
no.
see-
So he started typing it out. And he goes, "Oh, you have my old one."
There we go.
But it was like
Okay.
maybe 2 numbers changed in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. And dude, I can't tell you. I got that hot feeling and I'm
Yeah.
staring at PK Subban and I go, "I don't know." I said to him, "I don't know how I have your number."
You
at
should have
first.
looked at him and said, "I'm your stalker," and then he would have just like freaked
Well,
out.
he kind of asked me that as if he had dealt with that like at one point where
I'm
he's like,
sure,
"How do
yeah.
you have my number?" It's like, "Oh fuck." It was
Dude,
funny.
speaking of Lindsey Vonn, did I see Lindsey Vonn won a ski race this like last week? I think she won a ski race as
Did
like
she?
a 41-year-old.
I
She
know
was like
she's
the
back
oldest.
involved into skiing. Because I think I'll be honest, I haven't followed her career that closely, but I think she might have retired and then came back, and I think she is winning again.
Yeah, she won. She just won an event like in the last week, and it said Lindsey Vonn's triumphant return to downhill racing on her titanium knee has emphatically silenced critics who suggested she should see a psychologist or gone completely mad. Fucking Lindsey Vonn still doing it.
There's
Lindsey
a
Vonn,
bizarre commercial, I think, for the Olympics coming. That's been playing during. It was playing during Sunday Night Football last night, maybe, or it was probably playing on NBC. And it was her. It was Lindsey Vonn and Scarlett Johansson sitting down, and it was basically being like they were talking about all the injuries they've gotten while doing their respective jobs.
I've seen this.
And you've seen how ridiculous is it to compare? I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Scarlett Johansson. I'm sure she does a lot of her stunts and stuff, but there was one scene where it was like Lindsey Vonn was falling down a mountain and like she's like, "I broke 7 of my arms," and it's just and she's like, "I could barely walk after." And then they went to Scarlett Johansson and she's holding on to a rope in a CGI scene during Marvel, and she's like, "And I sprained my back." And then at the end, they're like, "We do it because we love it." I get it, but it's just a real hard comparison between a movie scene that's quite literally fake and then Lindsey Vonn falling down a double black diamond during the Olympics.
I would have to go
Going
back and watch it, but
130 miles an hour tumbling down the mountain.
I believe the tone of it is tongue in cheek, but I could be wrong.
Oh,
about
is
that.
it? Okay, so I caught
believe
it.
So
It's one of those commercials. You're on your phone, you look
Yeah.
up. So I must have missed the beginning of it then because it had to be because there's no way that they would compare the injuries that she's getting. Okay, so now I feel like an idiot. I got to go back and watch it.
I hope they did.
Lindsey Vonn, a catalyst of one of the great Tiger Woods photos of all time in terms of his tooth. He's
right.
Remember, he's up on the mountaintop and he's got the buff on that I think has a skeleton on it. And
he was in like Italy, dude. He was in Italy, I think.
And he, like at one point he smiled or something and he was missing a tooth. And people were like, "What happened to that tooth?"
Dude, there's a good part in the book, I think, where they go through that. And Tiger's like, "Yeah, a cameraman knocked my tooth out." And then they had done all kinds of investigative reporting. And they're like, "There's no reports of any cameraman hitting him with the camera." Like, that would be huge news.
There it is. Yep. Right.
He said a cameraman during like a golf event knocked his tooth out?
During I think like while he was trying to watch Lindsey Vonn ski,
God.
like a
That's his front
cameraman
tooth.
just like that, that would just be.
That'd be huge news. Such a Tiger Woods story where there's just one layer that we're missing. That they're telling us it's one thing, but something else happened, and no one will ever know. And there's a lot of Tiger stories like that where it's just there's one layer of shadowy mystery that's just if ever came to light would be like the greatest and most interesting sports story of all time. But he's just like, "No, a cameraman hit me in the tooth," and people are like, "That didn't happen."
So
He's like,
good.
"Well, that's what I said happened, so it did. It is what it is."
We are almost to the end of the 12 days of game time where they're giving away prizes every day with a $5,000 grand prize at the end. We absolutely love Game Time. We love going to events. One of the best things in the world. Game Time makes that happen. And the 12 days of Game Time, if you have not entered, make sure you go to 12daysofgametime.com. It's free, only takes a few seconds. This season, Game Time is celebrating the moments that made people fans, and they have been enabling those moments for the past 12 years. Life's just better with Game Time, boys.
Yeah, and the NFL is still going on. Playoffs are coming up. NBA is roaring right now. There's a lot of shows going on, concerts, plays, anything that you want to go to, that you want to experience. Go on Game Time, check it out. The prices go down as the event approaches. You're going to find the best deals on Game Time, I promise you. And just go on there, put in your location, see what's going on around you, and then just go to something. I guarantee you will have a blast, and it'll be worth it.
You want to know what time it is? Aside from it being game time,
Yeah.
it's Andrea Bocelli time in New York.
Wow.
Ooh.
This Wednesday,
Ooh.
Madison Square Garden, Andrea Bocelli. He's going to light your freaking socks up on fire. You're not going to believe. He hits these notes that make you'll remember him for the rest of your life, that you got to see that man sing in person. That's on Game Time. You can just go on there. You can go watch Andrea Bocelli, his family sing. It's the most memorable concert you'll ever go to. I'm there. I'm going 100% right before Pup Punk.
These are the types of moments that Game Time is celebrating. So again, make sure you go to 12daysofgametime.com today for a chance to experience one of these moments. This program is sponsored by Row. Row Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for stronger, harder erections. They hit the bloodstream faster. They dissolve under the tongue. Obviously, this is going to lead to much more fun, much more sex. I think sex is good, right, gentlemen?
Yes.
It's all about
Very
having
important
fun,
part.
man. That's why we're on this rock. We gotta just have fun here.
Yeah.
We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
That's right.
While we're on this rock, Row Sparks give you the boost so that you can last longer. It's going to be more fun for you and your partner. Rose stays active in your system for up to 36 hours. You're going to be ready for play with Row Sparks. These are great. These are going to help. These are just going to make one of the most important parts about any relationship, anybody's life better. With Row Sparks, you can get the erection you have always wanted. Row connects guys with a medical provider 100% online, so there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers. If approved, treatment ships directly to their door. Connect with a provider at row.co/foreplay to find out if prescription Row Sparks are right for you. Once again, that is ro.co/foreplay for $15 off your first order and to find out if prescription Row Sparks are right for you. Wednesday, I believe, tomorrow, for folks listening, is Breaking 85. We got a new Breaking 85 coming out. Where'd you guys film this one?
The Grand at Del Mar. We got off the plane. We were in San Diego, Carlsbad area for some Adidas meetings, which we should talk about that clip of Frankie that kind of went from that speech that we gave with the gift. But yeah, we got off the plane from New York, went straight to the golf course. Me and Frankie and Brendan and Ryan Richon, who's on the 1s and 2s today, got off the plane, went straight to the golf course, did a Breaking 85, and the Grand at Del Mar. I love that place. I really enjoyed that place. I actually got a DM from, was it after that? I posted that we were there. Maybe Frankie took a video, and Alex Caruso of the Oklahoma City Thunder DM'd me. He's like, I love that place. It was either there or the place that we played.
Have they lost the game yet?
They had a huge game against the Spurs of the NBA Cup. The semifinals of the NBA Cup were on Thursday or Friday, and it was Spurs Thunder, and it was an absolute classic of a game, and the Spurs ended up winning. So
they have 2 losses now.
I think they're 25-2.
Crazy. Yeah, he did message
pretty
you.
Good.
That's nuts.
Yeah, the Thunder are incredible. But long story short, we filmed a Breaking 85 at the Grand at Del Mar, and we had a ball.
It's a great course. I've played there years ago when we had that Full Swing partnership with the launch monitors. The guys over at Full Swing who now do all the technology for TGL. We're still pretty tight with them. Great guys out in the San Diego area. I had played there, and I remember it being awesome, but really tight, but one of those courses. God, who's the architect of it?
Oh, come on. It's there. It's there. Is
You'll
it
know
Fazio?
because like what? I think it's a
Fazio?
Fazio. Yeah, I think it's a Fazio.
The
Where
Foz, I love the Foz.
they're like outrageously weird looking holes and greens, but everything kind of funnels back towards the fairway. So yes, it is tight. Like there's not much rough, and if there is, it's a little bit of a mound. And if you hit that mound, it just hits this crazy speed slot that goes right back into the middle of the fairway. So you have a nice landing area, but everything to the left and right of where they want you to hit it is like desert or like, you know, trees and balls you can't even find. It's just drop offs of cliffs and stuff. So really, really tough course if you're not hitting it well. But if you're hitting it even slightly well, you can score out there.
Well, let's go. Trent's game's been trending. I think every group or person we film with is like, what's the number you're trying to break now? I can't believe you haven't broken that yet because you've been playing well.
Yeah, no, and I felt good. I mean, I felt strange that day because we had just gotten, we had been launched across the country in a metallic tube for 6 hours, but we landed and, we might have learned something about just going. When you get somewhere, just go, because we were battling daylight. We teed off around 1 or 2 p.m. So we're battling the daylight in San Diego and we're just going to go. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to have any time to get on the range. So let's just go. And we might have learned something.
All right. Make sure you check that out. Scope it out. It's going to be on the old YouTube. We got the final Breaking 85 of the year. Little scheduling note. I believe next Tuesday, December 23rd. Is that right? December 23rd. Yep. 2025 will be our final podcast of the year. And then we'll be, be taking a little holiday break, little Christmas and New Year's break. And then we'll be back on, I think, January 6th is when we will return for our first podcast of 2026. And then it's go time. I mean, I know there's no Century Tournament of Champions this year, but right after that, the Sony, and they're just going to kind of start ripping. I saw there's a new PGA Tour event at Doral. I think we had kind of mentioned that before, but they're going back to Trump Doral. The Cadillac Championship, I feel like it's just a blast from the past because that event was always kind of sponsored by Cadillac, but they did a big announcement that they'll be back. So Doral is, I'm trying to recall. Have you guys been to Doral? I've been there before.
No.
I was actually, this is not a fun fact. It's just a fact, but the bar at Doral is where I was having a little late breakfast when I found out that Kobe Bryant had passed away because we were in Miami area for Super Bowl week back when we were doing Barstool Radio, which was 2020. It was like a couple weeks, a month, whatever before COVID. And I remember flying in early because, like you guys, I was all living in New York at the time. I remember flying in early instead of flying in Sunday night so that I could just go hit some golf balls at Doral and just like kind of whatever, hit balls for the first time in months. And then went to get like a little breakfast after hitting balls, was sitting at the bar alone. And that's kind of how I found out that news, like, holy shit. But Doral is, for all Florida, I don't know that anybody in the world's like the biggest Florida golf fan. It's just like a little bit flat. There's some really sweet spots and a few really sweet courses. Stream Song's awesome. I love the Jacksonville area, but the Trump Doral course, the Blue Monster out there, is an excellent, excellent golf course. Really, really hard, but awesome track. So they'll be going back there. That's where Patrick Reed had his famous, I think I'm a top 5 player in the world comment like 10 years ago when he said that.
Wow.
That was right. At the old Blue Monster.
And that's where
won the Masters.
Rory launched his club into the water, no?
Yeah, I believe that's right. He threw like a 9-iron right into the water right there.
That's an awesome clip. Just watching him launch that thing. He's just angry, just an angry Rory McIlroy. I don't even know what year that would have been, but he was furious at that point in time. Who knows? But yeah, he absolutely tomahawks that thing into the water.
I think did somebody get scuba gear and go get that club like that night or something?
They
like
did,
that?
yeah, they sure did.
That's great.
Yeah, good old Doral.
I'm bad at the context of these things, but did you see? I think it was Q-School where the guy launched his putter into the water over the weekend.
Yeah, and it was like a little bit of a delayed one, like it wasn't. It was very funny, but yeah, he did. He missed the putt. Kind of walked around the hole for a second, looked pretty calm, and then just threw his putter into the water.
It almost looked because he missed the putt, and then he made the comebacker, but then it almost looked like he walked back to his original line that he missed on. It almost looked like he undressed the line. He was like yelling at the line that he got wrong. And then he slowly started walking towards the water and then just launched his putter into the water. I don't know if we have that clip, but I would love to watch it again if we have.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, let's watch it.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
It was a fucking stressful weekend for Q-School.
Well,
Really,
that'll
really
snap
stressful.
someone. That'll snap you.
Oh,
You got your whole
man.
life.
Oh wait,
dependent
start
on
this over. Yeah, here.
Here we go, Frank. You're gonna love this.
We'll
Misses
hold
it. Just kind of like, hands on my hips, like, damn, I just cost
Misses
myself
about
a lot
3 or
there.
4 footer. Now he's walking
All
up.
right, I'm just gonna finish this up here.
Yeah.
Everything still seems pretty normal. Reaching down, picking up
pretty
the ball,
calm, pretty
kind
cool,
of looking at
collected.
it like, look. I think he's yelling at his line there,
Staring
or maybe he's
at
looking.
maybe hit a pebble or something.
Like, all right, here we go. Just cost myself a lot in my life. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Boom.
Oh yeah, that when it's not out of a fit of rage, like right after it happens, that's deep in there. That's real anger. Thinking about it, knowing you had all the time in the world to just walk off the green and still tossing, it's nuts.
Yeah, that man, the Q-School finals. That's where our dear Alistair last year came up 1 stroke short for the second time. Where he was tied for the first going into the final round, and then just came up 1 shot short, airmailed the pin on a great looking shot on the last hole. That was the same deal, and we kind of had him on a few times talking about that sort of pressure. And man, did you see it kind of come out in a bunch of different folks. I saw Ben Coles, who we've had on the show before.
Oh.
He got that penalty for accidentally making his ball move. He went from tied for, being in the mix, I think T4 and top 5. Not including ties, were getting their PGA Tour cards, ends up making a double on that hole and dropping all the way back to like 20th, 30th, something like that is where he finished. Dylan Wu, who I don't know particularly well, but I know him a little bit. Just he's a Scottsdale guy. He's up at Whisper Rock. I saw he won in a 2-man playoff to get the 5th card. So he's back on the PGA Tour. But yeah, man, the stress of that is, as we have unfortunately through Alistair been able to highlight, but it's like the difference right there in that playoff is playing an entire season on the Korn Ferry Tour next year and just trying to get into that position again, or playing an entire season on the PGA Tour next year where you get the $500,000 stipend, you're getting into 20, 25 events on the PGA Tour that you're going to be playing, and you have this opportunity to catapult yourself. You look at like Jake Knapp, for example. Like Jake Knapp, when we did the Korn Ferry Tour event a couple of years ago, I know you guys were out there interviewing him, talking to him. He was in that spot in the middle of the summer, late summer, where he's like trying to make it through on the Korn Ferry Tour. And then less than a year later, he like won the Mexico Open on the PGA Tour and was out there kind of catapulting his career to another stratosphere. So if you don't have those breaks go the right way, you don't, just have your game at the right time, that difference is massive. So watching that kind of play out was heartbreaking, and that's why you see those putter throws into the old lake.
Did you guys watch the Ben Coles clip of him moving the? It's like he was sort of in a bunch of leaves, and I think he was trying to move a stick that was near the ball, and I think what ended up happening was the stick was a little bit, you couldn't see the whole thing, and he moved it, and it was longer than he thought, and the ball moved, and then he went double and just fell out of contention.
It's amazing that doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, because I do feel like you see people moving and wrestling stuff around all the time and thinking like, that seems like not worth the risk, because if that thing moves, that's an enormous penalty. I mean, that derails your whole thing, as we saw with Coles.
That's what I thought when I was watching it. I mean, it wasn't a great lie. I mean, he was certainly not in the fairway by any means, and I was like, I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020. I know what happens, but there were so many leaves, you just don't know what's going to move what. It's like a house of cards when you're trying to move that type of stuff, and then the wrong thing happens, and yeah, you just sort of it all. And then I think on the next hole he his drive into the water, and it was just over.
It always shocks me too when they get real aggressive with pressing down the wedge behind the ball. You'll see a guy like Xander Schauffele or something, like he'll like test like how deep the grass is, and like I mean, it might be deceiving on camera just like how close they are to their ball, but they're like pressing that wedge in. It's completely open. They're like, oh yeah, I think I can get under this, and the ball's not moving at all. It's nuts. It's like they're good at everything, even the little things like that. They know how close they can get without having it move at all or oscillate. It's incredible, because I mean, they're at the level too where if they see that thing move a millimeter, they have to call it out.
Oh yeah. You can't be getting those guys. I feel like John Rahm does that a lot.
John Rahm does it a lot. Yes. One arm on the club, kind of like leaning in and just like pressing behind it, and then like taking a couple practice swings and then just going right up there. I can almost like picture the specific one that I'm thinking of.
feel like there was a John Rahm situation a couple years ago where he was doing exactly what you guys are saying, and in like with the most high definition camera of all time, frames per second were like through the roof, and the ball moved just a little bit, and there was a lot of controversy around
Maybe
that.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I think it was a big tournament too. I mean, my brain is shot. I can't remember. I can remember
Same.
John Rahm. I can remember a ball moving. Can't remember the year or the tournament, but you are right. Like they hammer behind that ball, and you're like, if that thing moves, fuck.
Again, dumbest rule ever, or just the way that we can zoom in with freaking, like you said, 100,000 frames per second, see if it moves a millimeter. But on the greens, these guys are like talking to their caddy, looking down, putting a mark from their trip to London with their family 7 years ago that they got at a train station. They're like putting it down, taking the ball up, throwing it to their caddy. The caddy's like spitting on it, and then they put it back down. You're telling me that's the exact spot that the dimple that you picked it off on is now going right back on that same blade of grass? Shut the fuck up. Grow up.
Like a scientist would tell you it's actually impossible to
100%.
put the ball back down.
0% chance.
Spot. Literally 0%
chance.
And yeah, you've got. I remember Dustin Johnson once told us a story, or he told someone a story where he was like, I use quarters that were made in like the 1960s because I want to shoot in the 60s, and he's throwing down that dirty quarter, and that's supposed to be the right mark. It's like,
and some guys go a little bit further back, and they have to remember exactly how far it was, right? Like some are not exactly touching. Yeah. So it's just, it starts to get a little crazy. And that's the most important part of the green. I mean, that's the most important part of the game is where that ball is.
Yeah. It is funny that like there we care very little. And then in the weeds, it's like zoom in 8 trillion frames. And if it moves a millimeter, you're like banned from golf forever. You're sort of like, wow,
right.
We're all
like if they brought technology that they have in soccer and hockey and baseball where they're able to do this instant replay, and they also have like infrared technology and stuff to see if things cross over lines, what's that VAR system that they have in soccer where that you can actually see through the guys, they see where their arms are going and stuff. I know everyone shits on that system sometimes when it goes poorly for their team, but my point being, they have technology out there where you could have a camera on the green that when that ball goes there, there's a little green dot that goes, a green circle goes around the ball. And now it knows based off of like geolocation of that golf ball, exactly where it was. And you're telling me that if they had this replay and every single time someone picked it up, cleaned it and put it back down, I'm telling you 1,000 out of 1,000 times, it would not be in the same spot.
Golf's
and they would be handing out a penalty every single. They would have to change the game to you're not allowed to pick it up and clean your golf ball. That's how crazy it would be.
Right, because I think for however long golf has been around, not once has someone put it back in the exact same spot. It's not possible.
Why are people not talking about this then? They're getting infractions for balls moving millimeters in the rough.
I think the counter argument would be that like you can really improve your lie by being like here or there if it moving or whatever versus like on the green it's the same lie.
Yeah, but there's little marks in front of your ball. If you're behind a pitch mark on a green, you could, a Patrick Reed-esque type person could put the ball on the right side of the coin, and then now all of a sudden you're avoiding. Like there's just no one's really paying attention to that.
Definitely.
I see what you're saying. Obviously, there's more that could change with it moving in the rough or in the weeds or on the pine straw, stuff like that. It absolutely could change.
Lexi Thompson that got penalized at one time in the major for like she put her mark down on like the left side of the ball, and then when she put her ball down, she actually put it in front of the mark, and they called her on it. She ended up getting like a stroke or two penalty. Yeah, which like
that's her probably playing partner that calls her out on that, right? Because no one's noticing that.
So I think so because I remember it wasn't like intentional. It was like the way she was asked to mark the ball was uncommon. Where like the person had asked her like, "Hey, you marked that on the side of it, not right in front," because whatever. She was like, "Yep," and then just like when she went back to her normal routine, didn't think about it, putted, and then somebody called her on it. She ended up getting a penalty.
Well, then if you're talking about like when we're playing or when anybody's playing, when they're like, "Can you just move that mark to the right or to the left?" and you use the head of the putter. Now, when you're trying to get back to that original spot, you're not even in the same
looking at trees.
Zip code, dude.
You're looking at trees and you're like looking up and down. Like that's what we've gotten to,
dude. I never understood that, and it's what a lot of people do. They'll sort of look past everything and be looking at a tree, and I'm like, how is that possibly a line of demarcation that's going to make any bit of sense? And ultimately, everybody's trying to do the right thing. But like we're saying, if you can't, from when you put a mark down to when you put the ball back down in the same spot, if you can't get that right, imagine when you're moving the putter head around and trying to get it. Like,
and we all do the tree look just to look cool. We like lean one foot out. We kind of flamingo in there, and we look down, we look up, we put it. Is that good? Yeah. I would love to know just how accurate it is when we go back. We try. We certainly try. I think it's inches off.
Oh, I don't think I've gotten within a golf ball ever when I've replaced it. There's no chance.
That's where you get into where like you can change the break of a putt, and you can change you can change a lot. And that, again, everybody I think largely is trying to do the right thing, but you can get those bad actors who are just trying to make that putt a little bit straighter than it was before.
But I also don't think anyone that their ball is oscillating or whatever it is by a millimeter is trying to gain an advantage when they put their club behind the golf ball and it moves deeper into the grass for a worse lie. They're not like, oh fuck, I wanted that to happen. I don't think anyone's actively trying to gain half a centimeter on the green when they're putting their ball back in the different spot. It's funny now with technology how we see and penalize the ones in the rough and in the pine straw and all that, and we really don't even think about the greens. It could be the final putt of the Masters, and the guy's literally going up there, marking it, tossing the ball. It's just craziness going on the green.
You're also just trying not to get into the world of intent, because with intent and rules gets murky. Like, you watch that Ben Coles clip. I don't know Ben Coles. I know we've talked to him, and I'm sure he's a nice guy. But like, I'm sure he wasn't trying to move the ball where it was. He was just trying to sort of clear the area. But then, and I don't think he was intending to move the ball. But then you get people going forward where there's that gray area of intent, and you just don't. You'd rather have it be as black and white as you can, and you're really trying to do that.
Yeah, it almost makes me think like the loose impediment rule should just not exist. Like, you just almost shouldn't be able to move anything. It's like, if your ball's in like a bunch of like pine straw and what, like, you just can't move anything ever. Like, why would you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's also like on the green, the reason people mark a ball and pick it up is to clean it. And you can't do that anywhere else on the golf course. So maybe if you just like
crazy.
If you just get rid of like where the ball lands is where you have to play it. Now that brings into like if people are putting behind you, I don't know what you do. Do you putt out first if you're in someone's line?
The old stymie. They used to do it that way, which is iconic, which is absolutely iconic.
Trying to stymie guys. That's
a lot of the issue now, I guess, on the green too, is like with the trajectory and the technology of the golf balls are like they land, they make ball marks, and they pick up mud, like where they really probably didn't used to do that. Golf was so firm and whatever. It was played lower. The balls were so much different that like they weren't spinning and coming in hot and taking up like mud onto the golf ball. So I guess I could see like how that's been more implemented since. But yeah, it is pretty damn ridiculous when you think about it being such a major issue anywhere else on the course. And then, like you said, when we're doing like, you're so methodical about looking at the tree, doing the one club head, putting your mark back, pulling it out of your pocket, light it up, and you're like not within anywhere. Actually started with that golf ball.
Couldn't you say
ridiculous.
Also like I get what you're saying with, they're spinning the balls more, it's picking up more mud, and that's why that could be potentially why they like are allowed to clean it. You could also factor that into just like a strategic point of view where you're thinking, I don't want to spin this as much because it's going to pick up more mud and now I can't clean it. And that's going to screw up my next putt. So I see all sides of it. It's just funny to think about the marking of the golf ball. It's ridiculous. But
mud balls are crazy when you get to that level. I'm so bad with my clubs being dirty or the golf ball having mud on it in the fairway and stuff. I'm not really thinking about what it does to it. We did that match that's coming out in January, I believe. Hopefully January, but definitely next year. We went down to TaylorMade and filmed an incredible, one of our best videos that we filmed all year with Luke Clanton, Michael Thorbjornsen. Who was Riggs' partner?
Carl
Phillips. Just three young, up and coming TaylorMade athletes, unbelievable players. We did 2v2v2 alternate shot. Each player had a partner. It was unbelievably intense, and everyone wanted to win. It was so much fun. And but at one point, one of the guys had mud on the golf ball, and I think it was my guy, Thorbjornsen. and just talking through, like, they have no idea what's going to happen once they make contact with that ball, because they're so dialed in on ball flight, and they pick out spots for where they want this thing to kind of curl into the green. And when there's mud on one side, they start to know, like, all right, I have to aim a little bit more left because the mud's going to pull it more right. But, like, it could shoot out left on me now, and now it's just a dead pull. It's crazy when you get to that level of knowing exactly what the ball's going to do off your club face, and how that big clump of mud is going to just ruin that. For us, it's like, I'm almost sometimes saying, oh, it's keeping it straighter. It's just it's a heavier golf ball. It can't move in the air.
They practice mud ball stuff. Like, you put mud on one side, hit it.
They have
mud on
to.
the other side, hit it. I would. I mean, it comes down to it.
Who did I saw? It was maybe a month ago at whatever tour event they were at, where there was a clip of some tour pro was over on the edge of the driving range practicing irons out of the rough. It's like they have all this turf. And he was just like 10 feet off the range.
Genius.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, hell yeah. It was so good.
Dude, at Colonial Springs, they have a long bunker right next to the range, just a long fairway bunker, and nobody uses it. And I always think to myself, I want to go in there and just drop all my balls in there and just learn how to hit an 85-yard bunker shot onto a green, or a 150-yard 7-iron out of the bunker. What's that going to feel like? How do I get better at that? Nobody uses it ever. It's just a perfectly manicured, long, firm fairway bunker right next to the driving range.
I remember having this conversation several years ago, back again when I was like living in New York. We didn't get to play much golf, especially this time of year, whatever. And I remember being like, dude, if you go during a practice session someday and you go to a greenside bunker and you hit 50 bunker shots, you will hit in that period of time more bunker shots than you'll hit the whole rest of the year. And like in that 30-minute session where you get to like, I'm going to put it in the front of my stance. I'm going to open the club. I'm going to close the club, and I'm just going to like see what happens. And it's like, you could get so much better at that. That's a great call. Like, man, the amount of times, like if you're in a fairway bunker, 130 yards out, like within 5 feet of the lip, that's like a shot you might not have hit in a year and a half, like, or like you just got no idea. You're in there sort of like praying, I guess I'm going to treat it like a fairway. I don't know. And then when you take that swing, it's so forward. It's like, do I dig my feet in? Do I not? Is this going to cover this lip? Like, you really have no fucking clue because you never hit that shot.
Who was the, was it McGuire when we went to that LPGA event in Orlando? Leona McGuire, I think it was. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. Yep.
She was telling us, I think it was her, that she was telling us how she hits fairway bunker shots and she just squeezes the club as hard as she can.
I think that was her.
Yeah. I think
and
you're right.
By like having a really, really firm grip and like really tense in the hands, it just like makes you kind of pick the ball. And I remember, I think I told Kisner that like after seeing him, and he's like, yeah, that checks out or something like that. I forgot what pro it was that I kind of bounced that back off him, because I'd never heard that. And it was, I think of that all the time when I'm in a fairway bunker. I kind of squeeze a little harder, and it just makes you like get really handsy.
Dude, fairway bunkers are just, I'm a hit or miss guy based on the day. There's days where I'm in a fairway bunker and I just hit them how you're supposed to. And there's days where I'm in a fairway bunker and there's no way I don't get it. Like, I won't get it halfway there. I'm going to chunk it every single time. Oh yeah. And I just have no idea what the difference is.
For me, if it's even close to fluffy, if it's not really, really firm, and if I'm in a 80-yard to 100-yard bunker shot and it's fluffy, I have no idea how to hit that shot into the green. Like, no, it's quite literally impossible to me. It's got to be firm where you can take a 54 degree and kind of put it on your, like, towards the back of your stance and kind of just clip a little bit of sand. But like, you know what I'm saying? You're kind of just coming down on the ball and it's shooting low. It's shooting like with a low flight onto the green. It's going to get that 80-yard distance. It's not your front of the foot, get it up in the air and just drop it on the green type shot. But when there's a lot of sand in there, and I don't know if those sand traps are supposed to have that much sand in there. Sometimes you find one where it's really, really fluffy and soft. It's quite literally, to me, impossible, because now I got to take one of those full swings to get it through the sand, or you're trying to like blade the ball off of this fluffy sand from 100 yards out. It's never going to happen.
No, it's never.
I don't know how to. I don't have enough, and I've said golf should come, especially for amateurs, it should come with instructions, just like a board game, that says when you're in this position, this is how you set up the golf shot. Everything else you need to learn from a teacher. You need to practice, but at least when you're greenside in a bunker, put the ball in the front of your stance, open up the club face, then grip it. Just little bullet points. And I need one for fairway bunkers when you're like 80 to 100 yards out. I don't know what that bullet point would say. Fluffy sand, 85-yard shot. How are we getting this on the green? I have no idea the setup. I don't know what the attack angle is. I know nothing. It's a guess every time. And what I do is I end up fluffing it right maybe 20 yards in front of me. Every time.
I'm similar, man. I'm with you on that. That is like my yardage where I would almost rather chunk it and be short, because the other result is you blade it and it goes 170 yards and 100 yards over a green has never been good in the history of golf. So it's like, I would rather just chunk it, have a chance to get up and down, because I know I have zero. Like, what are they going to tell you? Take an 8-iron and open it up and hit it like a greenside bunker shot or something?
Maybe that might be it.
That's going to be a fucking nightmare. I don't know. That's not going to be.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was an option.
Throw it in ChatGPT, see what they say, because it's a hard thing to know.
We'll go Microsoft Copilot.
Let's go Microsoft Copilot. Throw it in there and we'll see what they say.
Good call.
Yeah, it's
good call.
It's an impossible. What are you putting in there?
I'm writing my scenarios if I'm there right now. I'm going to say I'm 85 yards away in a fairway bunker. How do I hit this shot? The sand is very fluffy.
Fluffy.
How
far was Bryson's shot at
55 yards?
Okay, that's shorter than I would thought. And what?
But here's don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievable shot. But he also had a little bit of like a he had a little bit of like room to work with where he could land it short and it would like roll kind of up into the funnel bowly area where the pin is. What's really hard is like there's like a front pin and you have to like fly it all the way there. That is where for me is just a nightmare fuel, because I just don't know how to fly it 55 yards.
If you were to be put in that situation 100 times, how many times do you think you get up and down?
0.
I'm genuinely asking, because I think for me it's probably 0, and it's just fucking, it's hard. It's one of the hardest things.
The more shocking number would be like what your scoring average would be from there, where it's like, I think I could get up and out of 100. I think I could get up and down a few times, whatever. But I think your scoring average would be shockingly high, because it's not the margin for error of like, you're either going to make a 2 or a 3 from there. It's like, your bad shots, I'm going to take 6 strokes from where you're at.
That's true. That's so true. What did it say, Frankie?
All right, so the Microsoft Copilot right here. It gives you a bunch of steps. Here's the fairway bunker from 85-yard guide, especially with fluffy sand. Do not get cute. Number 1 club choice: take more club than 85. Think 90 to 95-yard club. Fluffy sand will kill the speed. You're losing distance with that. So setup matters the most. Choke down 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Ball slightly back of center. Weight 60 to 70% on your lead foot. Your feet dug in just enough for stability, but do not sink below where you want to be. Club face square, not open, not hooded. Swing thought. Pick it clean. Minimal sand. You're brushing, not splashing. Shorter backswing and firm through. Chest rotates, hands lead. Your strike cue should be a thought. Clip ball first, skim sand after. If you feel a sand explosion, you're dead.
Okay.
If you're nervous, take more club and make a smooth swing. Long is fine, short is jail. Do not try to help it up. Do not swing hard. Do not open the face. Do not dig your feet in like a greenside bunker. From fluffy sand at 85 yards, middle of the green is a win. Pin hunting is idiot behavior.
Wow. I got some good advice there.
Gas me up, man.
Yeah. Right.
That is nice.
I want to get to a freaking fluffy 85-yard bunker right now.
Right. Good shot.
Aura Frames is the answer to every holiday gifting moment. Never struggle again to find the perfect holiday gift. These things are awesome. They're absolutely awesome digital frames. I know Frankie's set them up with his family before. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag. And then you could just put all kinds of photos, moments in there from anywhere, anytime. Aura Frames is a fantastic gift this holiday season.
If you're still sitting there listening to this podcast and you have yet to get gifts for your mother, father, grandparents, aunt, uncle.
What are you doing?
Like at this point, you're not too far away. You can still get these shipped to you before Christmas Eve, when you're going to be having these parties. But I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a week that goes by and then you're done. It's gone. The opportunity is gone. The time is right now. And this is a perfect gift. I've done it 3 different times for 3 different families. And every single time it's a hit. And we've said it a million times on the show, but you can preload all of your photos on there. It comes completely customizable. You have the app. Everyone that has access to the Aura app will be able to upload their own photos. So if it's at your parents' house, you can upload photos of your kids, their grandchildren, the whole deal, and it goes right to their frame, and they don't have to do anything. They just get to see all the photos. You can update it in real time. Oh, Timmy's playing softball, playing t-ball today. You can literally take the picture as he makes contact with the ball and shoot it right to your grandmother's house so that they can see their great-grandchild hit a baseball. Like, that's how cool that is. It's unbelievable.
For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code FOREPLAY. That's one word at checkout, FOREPLAY. That is AURAFrames.com. Promo code is FOREPLAY. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out very fast. So order yours now to get it in time for these special holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Speaking of Bryson and the U.S. Opens, I've got a top 10 list for you guys.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes. All right.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great.
How do you feel about it? I guess is kind of a more important
Well, I feel
question.
great. When we're on the road and we're moving and things are happening and we're jingling all the way from freaking golf courses to airports and we're running around looking for Turbo Man. It's nuts. And I sit down. We simply just didn't have enough time to prepare for that show last week. We didn't.
Fair.
How much, Ryan Richardson, how much of that did we leave in? I didn't go back and listen.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Dude, I got so many tweets being like, this is a nightmare.
I
Luckily, we have the best producer in the game, Ryan Richard,
do.
who has now just sent me today's list, and he finished it for me. I have all the data and everything that we can possibly need.
Let's
I
go.
will not mess this one up. I've got numbers. I've got answers. The question today, fellas, courses that have hosted the most U.S. Opens, 1 through 10, starting with the course that hosted the most to the 10th most.
Okay. I
Trent
like our
Ryan, I'm
chances on this
gonna
one.
go with you first. Give me a golf course in this top 10.
Pebble Beach.
Pebble Beach is 3rd with 6 United States Open championships.
We love that. We
Wow.
love a start like that.
Really well done, Trent Ryan. I'm going to go with Oakmont.
Oakmont Country Club is number 1 with 10 United States
Wow. It's a great
golf
start.
championships.
I'm going to go with Wingfoot.
Wingfoot number 5, clocking in at 6, the same as Pebble Beach.
Okay.
Tied for third.
I'm going to go with Shinnecock Hills.
Shinnecock Hills, number 7, clocking in with 5 U.S. Opens, about to be 6, about to be tied for 3rd. Coming up next year, United States Open 2026, Shinnecock Hills.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Torrey Pines.
Torrey Pines is not on the list.
That hurts. That hurt.
Our first
That hurt.
to hang.
You know what? I think this one's sneaky way up there, even though it hasn't hosted in a little bit of a while. I'm going to go with Marion.
Marion, yes, 5. They're 6th on our list with 5 U.S. Opens.
Okay.
All right.
Again, a lot of them have the same amounts, right? So they're actually tied, but we're going to go 1 through 10.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Where do you think I should go here next?
Oh man, I'm kind of running out as well. There's got to be some big ones. Like, are there
Pinehurst number 2.
Did you ask? Are you asking Riggs, or are you putting that as an answer?
I'm putting that in as an
It's
answer.
good. It depends.
Number
how you're
9
taking
with
that.
4 U.S. Opens.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So.
Oh,
let's
I even
see.
realized Ryan Richardson has 12 here. Oh, I guess because there's a bunch tied at the bottom.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I imagine a bunch of those.
I'm going to stop
probably
saying the
tied.
numbers at this point. Fuck.
Okay. Let me go a little bit backwards here. There's got to be a couple obvious ones that we're just completely missing out on right now.
Is you think Bethpage Black is on that list?
No, I think it's only hosted 2.
Okay.
I think it's only hosted 2. I think it was 2002 and 2009 because I believe in 2002 it was like a huge deal that it was like the first publicly like accessible whatever muni that had ever hosted a U.S. Open. So I don't think so. I think I'm gotta be thinking like Brookline.
Okay.
Brookline is not on the list. And just to help you, we're looking for 4 or more because basically number 9, Pioneers number 2 is tied with number 12 on this list.
Okay.
We're looking for 4 or more.
Brookline is on the list.
Where?
It's like the country club or whatever. It's like the same thing. I don't know. It's kind of has a dual name. I
Oh,
guess.
the country club. Yeah, I didn't even see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Number 10. There you go.
There we
Riggs.
go. All right.
Oh,
It is on.
4? Okay, let's go.
What could number 2 be? I mean, it's got to have like
Dude,
7, 8.
I got to be thinking of places that like are outdated now.
Yeah.
Almost. You know, like where the hell did they host? You know, is it like Newport Country Club or something like that? Of like a place that hosted early on that just can't host anymore.
Oh, geez. Now I'm drawing a blank.
What is like Oak Hill on there, Frankie? Not Oak Hill. What's the other one? What's like Detroit? Isn't there one in like Detroit that's hosted a bunch of US Opens?
I'm holding strong. What's your answer?
I don't know. I'm just throwing things at you, trying to get a read off of you.
You're hot. If we're playing the hot game with like the hot or cold game, you're hot, but you're not there.
What is that fucking course? I think their clubhouse burned down.
I think you're right.
Oakland Hills?
What is that?
Oakland Hills? Is that
That's
what it
correct.
is?
That's correct. Oakland Hills.
All right.
That's number 4 with 6 United States Opens. Number 2 is a shocking one to me, but you know, I never would have been able to guess this.
I know.
Okay,
that's what I was.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
There's like, fucking.
You guys should get number 8. Well, just thinking of like big United States, like USGA golf courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking A. Why do we have a blank spot right now?
We haven't done too bad, I will say.
We've been to number 8. We've been to number 8.
I got one. Baltusrol.
That's number 2.
Wow.
Baltusrol with 7 United States Opens. Isn't that stunning?
Yeah, that's stunning because they had they have had PGAs recently. I feel like that's where Jimmy Walker, I think, won the PGA Championship relatively. That's where Phil won the PGA.
8th on our list. We've
Frankie
been to last year. We spent some time there. West Coast, USGA golf course.
I don't even remember fucking last month.
Well, this year actually, we were there this year.
Is it?
We said Pebble.
I know.
A little more north.
Oh,
Olympic
Club. That's
Club.
a great call, dude.
5
That's a
US
great
Opens.
call.
And then you want me to give you
round
the
out the
ones that are
list
tied
for
at 11,
us.
12? Myopia? Is that how we're saying that?
Yeah, Myopia Hunt Club.
Myopia Hunt Club and Inverness.
Oh,
okay.
So those are your top 12. Every time there's always something I get wrong. Like I started saying the top 10. We had 12 up there. I didn't even notice that. I'm still learning how to do these top 10s, but that's your top 12 United States Open golf courses, with Shinnecock rising up the ranks. Now, here's another caveat. I didn't fact check any of that. That's all Ryan Richardson. Okay. Hopefully they didn't already include Shinnecock because obviously they probably didn't, but I'm just saying.
All right.
I think I'm confident in Ryan Richardson's ability to get me top 10s and 12s. I think that's a fucking clean list. And yeah, it's going to change, obviously. And then now, like Pioneers number 2, you go back to that list in 10 years, the fact that they have that rotation now, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Because what are the courses they're going to be going to all the time? It's going to be
pretty much like Pioneers number 2, Oakmont, Wingfoot, Pebble, Shinnecock, and like I think Marion's back on the list now.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that they're doing it that way.
That's a great rota. I think that's a fantastic rota.
It's a home run. That's a
Give
home
me
run.
Pebble Beach every 5 years, man.
That's
Give me
nice.
Pebble Beach.
I
Pebble
was-
Beach US Opens hit me like a ton of bricks.
I was talking to somebody. It might have been at Adidas, and I think what is it? 2027. It's maybe we've talked about it. It's Old Course and Pebble.
God.
Just like
those kinds of years are just as good as it gets.
You're playing the video game majors. You're
Also-
you just it's 2008. You just turned on Tiger Woods. You're like, oh, let's play the big ones, and you're playing the Old Course and you're playing Pebble Beach. That's and you obviously got the Masters too. It's unbelievable. What's the other one? What's the PGA that year?
2027.
Ooh, what is the PGA in 2020? Is that actually at Frisco?
That's not Frisco, is it?
Oh, it might be.
That's Rory might have a field day with that. It is at 2027, Frisco, Texas, Fields Ranch East.
The reason
What
we were
would be
talking
your
about
like
it is,
all? You know what would be the fourth that would round it out if they had the PGA at Bethpage? That would be the greatest year in majors history.
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah.
If you would have everything covered. You'd have East Coast, West Coast. It would be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause the reason we were talking about it was because, those are golf courses that are pretty important to a singular guy. And if he were to
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, you know what? This is, this might be it.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
know
other part.
They don't do retirements, but 2027, if he's healthy, that feels like a retirement tour.
That's fine.
You're
it's
saying
not
it could
the worst
happen.
way to go.
I'm just saying, like, if we know a guy that's Tiger Woods and we know how much of a showman he is and how everything in his life has kind of been a movie, I think that's a pretty good way to go out.
I agree with that. I think that's
Yeah.
a really good way to go out, dude. That's the other part about that 2000 year that, like, yes, he dominated. He won 3 majors. He won by 15. He won by 8, but he also did it at the places, like winning at Pebble Beach and winning by 15 and then winning at the Old Course and winning by 8. It's just like a hilarious lineup that year. He won at Pebble Beach twice too. He won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Like, what a hilarious year that guy had there. God damn.
Pebble's just got the magic. I want to live there. I want to just set up a
Incredible.
tent on one of the holes and just live there. I know they wouldn't let me, which is unfortunate, but like, it's got the magic. That's all. It
does.
This magic we're talking about. It's holiday season. It's snowing in New York. You feel a little bit something that's not just your everyday life. Pebble's got it.
For me,
Yeah,
the magic starts, dude. I love the tee shot on 3. It's a hard shot.
I like that shot now because I could just kind of aim way down the left and just hit it high in the air. And if you cut one, it's like fine. It's in the bunker maybe, but it's still only 150 out. I love that hole too.
You just got through 1. 2's a easy par 5. Like, now we're going. We can score on that one. It's tight, like especially your second shot, but it's very doable. You can hit it anywhere off the tee. For me, I can just pound it out left. 3, it makes you think. Sometimes you don't even have driver in your hand. You got a 5-wood or a 3-wood, and you're just putting it in
4.
front of that bunker. And then you make that turn, that walk, that little turn. You see 17, and you can see the water behind the green. And you know that once you're finished with 3 and you get past 4, that little right, that the trees on the right of 4, once you walk past that, it's over, man. It's absolutely over. You are on the walk of a lifetime. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's crazy. It's nonstop. It hits you like a ton of bricks.
Dude, when you hit a wedge into that 4th hole and then you get the putter walk up the 4th green and you can see the like peninsula out there. You can see this whole 6th hole. You can see the whole 7th hole, and you've got like a putter, so you're most likely got a decent little birdie look on that short par 4. You're just like, oh my god, this is
We've been lucky enough to
awesome.
play there 8 times at this point. I've never hit the green. I've never hit the green on 7. It's out of control.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Really, it's a little 54-degree flip wedge. Come on.
At one point, I was even par going into the 7th hole, and I missed the green. I had birdied 5. I'd birdied 6. I went back-to-back birdies. It was outrageous.
It's also the first place we met Tiger Woods, which makes it
First
extra
place, but I
special.
was gonna say my first ever swing at Pebble Beach was when we did that USGA Media Day, and we got shipped out. We got shuttled out to the 4th hole, and I duck hooked a 3-wood, and it hit the fence right behind me.
I remember.
I'm talking now.
Dude,
the tees we were playing,
we had a crazy
you only had about
4 hours there.
You only had about 70 yards worth of fence, and I hit it. Like it duck hooked that fast that it snapped, and then you heard the crack of the wood, and I'm like, How is this my first shot at Pebble Beach? How is that my first swing?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Great place.
It is a fantastic
spot.
place. Fantastic place. All right, gentlemen. I believe that's all, that I had on the old rap sheet here.
Yeah, there's not much in December. It's more just like, personal stories, family time. Not much golf going on. We got a little bit of it today, but aside from them, I looked through my photos to see if there's anything noteworthy to talk about. There's just Jon Cooper.
I've never met the guy, but I've found that we met a lot of people doing this job, and the people who don't think they should be in the positions that they're in are usually my favorite.
He's also the kind of guy that I love the New York Islanders so much that he's always been the guy on the other side beating us. So when I saw him in person, there were a couple times where I like took a step back and looked to my right, and he was just sitting there talking with his buddies or me, where I'm like, is this real right now? Am I actually looking him in the flesh and like he's responding back to me? There's a couple moments that we've had with guys like that, with Tiger Woods, where you're like, I can't believe I'm saying words. He's listening to him and responding back. And Jon Cooper, for some reason, he's been a part of that, my life for a long time. And like some of my most excited and memorable moments of watching sports and my favorite team, he's been on for me, the wrong side of it. But it was cool to meet him in person and really like get to know him. It was a very, very cool moment. Great guy.
It's also a guy who loves the same thing that you love. And that, like, it's as simple as that, where you just meet somebody who you're like, I love this thing. And he's like, yeah, I love this thing too. And then you guys can talk about it. And he's obviously reached a level that's like out of this world, but he still just loves hockey, and you love hockey. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
It is like the beauty of even like sports at that point are really like everyone kind of has, for the most part, a level of respect for one another, because like Trent's saying, you're all really there for like the same reason you love it. It just happens to be like one little break this way is like he's on the other side, but not really. He's like doing the same exact thing. He could have just as much been doing it for the Islanders this whole time had like he gotten hired by their farm team 15 years ago. It's like, It's the same fucking thing. It's just he happens to be on the other side. But yeah, I'm glad you got to meet and hang out with him, because he is a legend. We got to have him on the show. We'll have him on probably around the Olympics, because, of course, he is head coach of Team Canada, which is going to be, our rival going into the Olympic Games if they get that rink done and figured out in time, which hopefully they will. But yeah, it'd be great to get him on the show.
There also was a time that was funny that I had said, because Biz on his show Biz on Spit and Chicklets made an announcement similar to Riggs during the Whistling Straits Ryder Cup, that if Tom Wilson is not on Team Canada, he's going to root for USA. It was a very Riggs call out saying, I think he deserves it the most, and I don't think I can root for this team if he's not on the team. And I brought that up to Cooper, because they were just talking about Team Canada, and I'm obviously pitching for Matthew Schaefer. And then at one point I'm like, I don't even think I should be saying Matthew Schaefer should be on your team, because I'm a Team USA. I don't want him on your team. He's going to kill us. This kid's 18 years old. He's dominating the NHL right now. I mean, he got 9 goals during COVID.
He's 12 years old during COVID.
Crazy. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. He was laughing. I'm done advocating for this guy. I want him on my team, not yours. And then I brought up the Biz thing. He called Biz, and Biz was driving, so like it was FaceTime, but it was coming through. Like you could tell that the Apple CarPlay wasn't letting him. That's another thing. Like the Apple CarPlay just wasn't letting him see him. It was only being voice recorded. And Biz was just like, it was a podcast episode between them. Like Biz is going after him about certain players, and Cooper, being who he is, he's like, who would you have on the team? And like they're going back and forth, and they're agreeing with each other. And the way Biz talks, like, well, if you're gonna put me in the spot like that, like, that's a good point there, Coop. And it was very funny. Cooper on my side, he's just laughing as he's saying things, trying to trigger him, because he's not making any decisions at Borrelli's on a Friday night. But he's like, he would hit me and be like, watch this one, and be like, what do you think about this? And then you hear just silence, and Biz would be like, okay, well, now that's a good point. Like, just like it was funny, man. It was really good.
It's a great night, man.
That is
but even
great.
for Biz, where he's at, he's on TNT. He's like the voice of the NHL. Afterwards, he texted me. He's like, that was nuts. Like, that's how big Cooper is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you like forget because he's so disarming with it. He doesn't carry himself like he's some intimidating big head cut. He's just fucking cool.
If you're a Canada hockey fan and you're obsessed with Team Canada in the Olympics, like hearing like you would want to hear your head coach like talk about like how much he loves coaching the team and the schemes and who he's thinking about, who's on his short list. Like it was nuts to be there. It was nuts. He is the fucking man, dude. He really is. Unfortunately, I kept saying that. I'm like, unfortunately, you're the man.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you, Ryan Richin, all our sponsors. And we got 2 more shows left for the year. Then we're going to shut it down for a little holiday break and be back in 2026. So we'll talk to you on Thursday. Thanks for listening. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.